I once told a story about a manager that I had who wasn't all too impressed by me. And he really saw that I wasn't really bringing out my fullest potential. And I asked him what he based it on. And then he said, well, it's perception. It's based on your body language and everything. And he said, perception changes how people view you, etc., etc. And I learned a valuable thing about that, how important it is to represent yourself well. That the first seconds that people meet you, they already have calculated who you are, and etc., etc. And so yeah, I really took to heart what my manager explained to me and shared with me, and I made it a benefit, you know, like for example, the fact that I was a girl in a very masculine world, a tech space. People didn't really take me serious the moment I would step in, but because of that, I use it in my advantage, because if I know what I'm actually talking about, you know, if they already don't really have a big expectation of you, but the moment you start to say certain things that make them think like, oh, this girl, she knows what she's talking about, then you really quickly raise the expectations, right? You really quickly have that respect. And that's what I saw happening all the time. But now that I'm older, I also see something else, and that is that with certain people, it doesn't matter how well you mean it or how innocent you are. When they have made up their mind about you, no matter what happens, that's just a story that they will keep telling. They will always believe what they want to believe. They will always see what they want to see. You can't do good in their eyes. And the beauty then is to accept that and to leave it with them, and to have that discernment of, hey, what part can I control and what part is out of my control, and to not be that pleaser that tries to constantly get their say and their blessing and their love and their, you know, acknowledgement. To really be able to be like, hey, I know that you look at me like I'm whatever, and I see it and I feel it, and it's okay. You can do that because it will not affect me, and I stay in my lane, you know, like that. And that part, that is refinement, guys. And that is what true freedom for me feels like. You really see who you are yourself. And even though you can see how people misunderstand you, then you just accept that, and you don't fight your way through that, and you don't constantly need to prove yourself and make them change their minds, because they won't, because they don't want to. You know what I mean? And the moment you stop caring, it fades away. That's the magic. Yes, we can really shape our reality. We can really make a difference in how we present ourselves. And that's a really important skill. And at the same time, no matter what you do with certain people, it's like they will always see you as the bad guy, or they will always see you as someone that they cannot take serious, you know, because because you're a woman, or maybe because of your background, or your you know, ethnicity, or just because of the way you look, and they don't like it. Yes, we can change perspective. Yes, we can alter things. Yes, for sure. This is so funny. Like, let's say you get out of bed and you go straight for a brunch with your friends, and you look like shit, right? All messy and all of that. And then there's this cute guy who walks in and you're like, oh my God, this is not my day. Yeah, it's important to work with perception. Because if you would be dressed up, they would perceive you differently than if you show up all messy. The thing that I learned from my manager is something that we get to control. We can shape how people perceive us. But the other side of the coin, when, you know, certain people, whatever you do, they will always see what they want to see and not who you truly are. That is not something you get to control. That is something that you have to liberate yourself from. And that is a complete different thing. It's like, it is really, really being able to look at yourself and being okay with how people treat you, even if it's not fair, and if it's injustice, and if it causes you hurt and anger and all of that, is to be able to move through that, and not by fighting it and trying to change their mind and trying to be better, and, you know, maybe even being the good girl or the good guy, and giving more, or fighting and showing all your bad sides. No, it's such an internal process of liberating yourself of the opinions of others. And once you get the hang of that, oh my God, you're like the most dangerous person in the room, because they cannot control you anymore. Where I really gained momentum for myself and my own personal joy and happiness is the moment when I stopped fighting people that projected their stuff on me. And internally, I would feel that, you know, it was something that I also had to control. It was something that I also had to manage, when it's actually not the case. And when I really started to see that, I'm like, hey, you can perceive that, but that's not what happened. But I allow you to have your opinion, and I don't feel like I need to defend myself. And if you really want to hear my opinion, you will hear that when people are really genuinely interested, you know? But to have that freedom within, like, where it doesn't matter, honestly, the noise stops because it doesn't control you. And that's magic, guys. Oh my God, is that magic? And the beauty is that the right people will just show up. The right people that see you and honor you and love you just exactly as you are. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in tomorrow's episode. Bye-bye.